What is going on, guys? Marc Guberti here. In this video, we're going to talk about how many income streams you should have for the purposes of financial independence. Now, what a lot of people think about when it comes to income streams, usually got two different ways of thinking. One is build up as many income streams as possible, and the other is if you have a job, you're fine. That's the safest source of income. That's the narrative people like to project. So this video is going to give you a better perspective on the income stream debate, where it's how many of them do you actually need. Now, if you are someone who your only source of income is from a job, that is extremely risky because all it takes is layoffs or something to happen and all that income goes away. The idea behind having multiple income streams is if one of them dries up, you're not in a desperate situation from a financial standpoint. You've got other income streams that can pick up the slack, maybe even income streams that can grow because now you're able to devote a little extra time to them. But as you add more income streams to your plate, it becomes a little more difficult to manage each one. And then if you've got a family that you want to spend time with, having all these different side hustles on top of a job, it doesn't necessarily make it easy. Every single personal finance video or article, it always stems with this idea of have your income surpass your expenses, income plus cash flow if you are looking to retire at some point eventually or take on a semi-retirement lifestyle. But in any event, that is the main thing you have to do. Now, it's good to have multiple income streams, as we talked about earlier, but again, you want to balance adding more to your plate and being able to spend time with the people you want to spend time with. So I would recommend the way you start this off is just explore. Go for a variety of income streams, 5 income streams or 10 income streams. Not to say that you have to be doing these like fully committing to them, but just to see what work is involved, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, what's bearing the best results. Like you see all these articles, like 10 different ways to make money. You got publish books, you got create training courses, you got run ads on your blog, you got do a podcast, like do social media client stuff for people. Like look at one of those and just dabble in those different income streams, and you'll get an idea of which ones you enjoy and which ones bring in the most money. Once you have a better understanding, then it comes to narrowing your focus. I would say if you've got 1 to 2 side hustles on top of a job, you're pretty good. If you don't have the job, then you could obviously add far more income streams, because most of these income streams, like the books and courses, they aren't the 9 to 5 type of hourly efforts where you can do a few hours each week rather than a few hours each day for most of these side hustles. So if you have a job, I would say 1 to 2 income streams is pretty good. If you don't have a job, I would definitely expand that out a little bit more. Think about 5 income streams, maybe more than that. Now, not only are there active income streams, but there are these passive income streams. I say it that way because passive isn't really passive. There is some work you have to do to get that stream of income, and you got to monitor. So dividend investing, I talk about it a bit on the channel, and that is one of my favorite ways to generate this so-called passive income. Now, I still have to do research to find the different stocks. You guys see the videos where I do all the research and basically share my thoughts on stocks. I have to do all of that before deciding to buy a dividend stock. And then I continue to do research even after buying, because I've got B. Riley, I've got Prudential, I've got $100. Where does that $100 go in that given moment? So it's not really passive because I'm still doing the research, but it's something where if I wanted to take a little break and not do research and not buy stocks, I am still generating that cash flow. So it's very little work relative to other options. You could also look at rental properties. Some people, they like to be the landlord, where you buy a multifamily and you basically live for free because you've got enough tenants who cover your mortgage. Other people, they like to do an Airbnb setup so they don't have the same commitments as a landlord, and you can turn it on and off at any moment, but you are able to use your property as cash flow, which does help out when it comes to cutting down on your expenses. The more expenses you incur, the more income you will need to cover them, which will likely mean you will need multiple income streams in order to cover those expenses. So being able to lower your expenses $100 a month is just as good as making an extra $100 a month. So again, this really comes down to income and expenses, but it's also about lowering risk. When you invest into dividend stocks, rental properties, or something else that produces cash flow, you are lowering the risk of, oh, what happens if all of a sudden you get laid off or fired? Two things that you don't really want to think about, but they are possible scenarios for any person who takes on a job. You want to have that backup. And while it's even better to have a side hustle or two under your belt that require a few hours each week, nothing too crazy, but you are able to produce some extra income, and you can scale these up to full-time income sources if necessary. Having those as well is just a way to lower risk. At the end of the day, the amount of income streams you choose to have is based on what level of risk you can tolerate, what your expenses are, and how much income you make from each of the income streams you're looking at. I'd love to hear from you guys what you think about the income streams today. How many of them do you have? How many are you looking to add? Or are you looking to simplify a little bit and not focus on some of your income streams as much? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. Always looking forward to hear what you guys think. And I will see you all in the next one.